business. I'm just going to talk very quickly about London itself. So this is just a quick couple of views of the London facility. At the moment, there are 450 people in the film group and about 150 in the commercials team doing visual effects. The company is actually quite established in London. It's been around for a long time, and it's sort of had many different identities. It started out actually doing actual production, producing short films and documentaries and different things. Then it kind of had a life for a little while where it focused on technology. And then at some point, it kind of grew into this post-production facility, and there's a very strong post-production culture in London, based out of TV primarily. It wasn't really so much part of the film culture, it was more of a TV culture. And so the growth of film has been sort of exponential. It just keeps kind of growing and growing at a really rapid rate. I think the MPC film department was 10 people about 10 years ago, and it was 10 compositors sitting in a room within the film, within the TV group, this small group of film people that took on a few shots for some of their clients who were starting to make films. A couple of years later, there are 150. A few years later now, we're 1,000 globally. So it's been quite a rapid change. But London remains the sort of mothership and the hub of all of this. I'm just going to show you a quick slide or video that shows you these sites, so you get a sense of who we are around the world.
Like a crayfish, every last song I sing.
sense of the offices we have around the world. And just to be clear, Technicolor Bangalore, they're going to speak later actually. There's a group there doing animation for other clients. It's not really part of MPC. We're sort of a part of Technicolor, but we share the facility there. So when you see 900 people in the Bangalore office, there's about 150, are we 150? Something like that in MPC in Bangalore. There's a subset of that team. Okay, so the actual growth, what are the sort of guiding creative things we think about as we become this big entity that we've become? I'm not the business guy, so I get to talk about the creative stuff and not worry about the money part. But so when I say the film comes first, obviously we're a viable business, but there must be an attitude when it comes to visual effects work that the project is the most important thing. We have on a number of occasions, for our own reasons, sacrificed profit margin for the final result. We live and die by our latest work, and so we, like I said before, we're very motivated by making films. So the project has to always come first, and we do end up sort of bending over backwards quite a lot in order to facilitate that for the clients. Collaboration means accommodating the director's process, okay? A lot of people talk about collaboration, about cooperation and different workflows and how people are going to work together, but ultimately, to be honest with you, the most important thing in the end is I have a relationship with some director who's let's say got a $160 million movie, and they're like freaking out and they're scared all the time, and they're trying to shepherd this movie through a difficult studio situation, and all they want to know about is that there's some guy out there, one or two people, myself and maybe my producer, who completely understands what they need as an individual artist, what they need to actually do a good job and make really successful film. They're going to have their film reviewed by the studio or distributors or something every 3 or 6 months and get all these notes, and they're constantly trying to make sure those screenings go well, and they also have a process of reviewing things in the cut and telling story, and that's my main job as a visual effects supervisor, is to make sure the director is taken care of in that way. We are proud geeks. We love technology. We've always been very technology driven. We invest a lot in technology, and we really believe in technology. We write a lot of our own software. We have one of the bigger R&D teams in Europe doing what we do, and I think that team is now growing again as we expand. Technology never replaces the talent of the individual artist, of course. I can cite a number of examples where all of MPC's focus and all of our know-how and all of our technology and all of our experience is behind a particular problem on a particular film, and it's one artist who actually cracks that problem. Mainly because they are the right person at the right time who combines how to use these tools to create something really cool looking. And I know we've got a problem solved when people just go, oh, that looks really cool, that's great. If there are a lot of meetings and people are talking, and that means they're not comfortable, they don't think you found it. And I can work on a problem for weeks or even months sometimes, and then this one guy comes up with a solution and everybody goes, that's it right there. So you can't undervalue the really creative, talented people. I'm not just talking about talent in a general sense of your whole workforce is your talent. They're not all going to be like that. There are very few people in your workforce who actually bring the key creative talent and are comfortable working within these digital tool sets and can get past the technology and actually produce something creatively awesome looking. The other thing is, and this ties with the theme of the conference, I think, is that we like to say that we make scenes, not shots. There's a bad habit in the visual effects community globally where some people just think of it as shot production. How many shots? Are those shots done? Can I schedule these shots? Blah, 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 blah. And you just don't think about it that way. If you want to really be a good filmmaker, you've got to think about scenes. The scene is really the unit of manufacture, if you want to put it that way. It's a moment from a film, and if you're not building a moment for a film, even if you're not doing characters, not even animation, let's say you're doing something like a big water scene, that's a part of the storytelling, that's part of the drama of that scene. If it's, let's say it's a storm with a boat at sea and you've got to do the water, I mean, you're storytelling with that water. It needs to cut well, it needs to feel right, it needs to have moments of clarity for the audience. Every shot in that scene has a job to do to tell the story, and so we have to have a mentality that we make scenes, not shots. And I wanted to show this next thing. This is a short commercial that was done at the MPC London commercials team. But I think you'll see that this is a sort of a film quality piece of advertising. A quite clever amount of storytelling in a visual effects style. It's an underwater scene with photoreal fish, and just think about this when you watch it in terms of, this is a typical visual effects job, but it feels more like a little piece of storytelling. And it also happens to be a strong collaboration between the film and commercial groups in London. So you have characters being built by the film team and being animated and rendered by the commercials team. So just have a look at this one. I don't know why that's a commercial for chocolate, but whatever. So, but I think you see there that there's kind of a nice sort of synthesis coming out of different teams in the London facility working together, and a sort of photorealistic visual style and animation style, but with a very much a piece of kind of cartoony storytelling. Again, those aren't just a bunch of shots, is my point, and there's a kind of mentality that goes with producing work like that. So this is one of my big things here, is that methodology is the key thing at MPC. You have talent, you have tools, you have some pipelines. Those are sort of your nuts and bolts that you're working with. You have project management and people structure, which to me are equally important and on an ongoing struggle to do well. It's not to be underestimated, and I think probably everybody here appreciates these things, but I think when you have a group of guys like us who are a bunch of CG geeks and animators and producers and stuff, and we're not really business people, and this is the part that we need to put a lot of energy into and has some of the greatest dividends. The key thing here again, I'll